Today I'll be talking about why Trump was a good president and why he should be reelected. Number one, the economy. The economy soared under Trump in the first year. America gained 7 million new jobs, more than 3 times government experts' projections. The middle class family income increased nearly $6,000 and more than 5 times the gains during the entire previous administration. The unemployment rate reached an all time low at 3.5%, and Trump made America more independent. Trump's goal for America to make America great again was to not have America rely on countries for other things. For the first time in nearly 70 years, the U.S. has become a net energy exporter. The U.S. is now the #1 producer of oil and natural gas in the world. Natural gas production reached a record high of 34.9 in 2019, following record high production in 2018 and 17. Not to mention the gas prices. Gas prices were extremely low under Trump's presidency. Trump's goal was to stop illegal immigration along the Mexico-U.S. border and also keep terrorists out of the United States. Trump signed an executive order to stop discretionary federal grant funding from sanctuary cities, and the DOJ prosecuted a record-breaking number of immigration-related crimes. Instituted national security travel bans to keep out terrorists, jihadists, and violent extremists, and implemented a uniform security and information sharing baseline that all nations must meet in order for their nationals to be able to travel and immigrate to the United States. He killed the leader of ISIS, Baghdadi, and he eliminated the world's top terrorist, Qasem Soleimani, which was a very big deal, and there's much debate of whether he should have done that or not. Abortion laws. Trump was pro-life. He also stopped the federal funding of fetal tissue research, led a coalition of countries to sign the Geneva Consensus Declaration, declaring that there is no international right for abortion and committing to protecting women's health. He's the first president in U.S. history to attend the March for Life. That's pretty important. The opioid crisis. President Trump declared the opioid crisis a nationwide public health emergency. This is important because it gave access to more action to be made by the government, public health officials, and address the problem as it should instead of ignoring it like previous administration. Passed the CRIB Act, allowing Medicaid to help mothers and their babies who are born physically dependent on opioids by covering their care in residential pediatric recovery facilities. Drug overdose fell nationwide in 2018 for the first time in nearly 3 decades. The DOJ charged more than 65 defendants collectively in one case responsible for distributing over 45 million opioid pills. Trump was in no way a perfect president. We all know this. Trump had a very bad way of getting his point across, especially on Twitter. Trump called the COVID-19 virus the Chinese virus. He would say racist things. He would call people losers if they oppose his view. Say just awful things on Twitter overall. He would threaten other countries, blame current crises on previous administrations. I mean, his Twitter account was just a mess. Then there's a Stormy Daniels incident where, if you don't know, Trump and this adult film star, Stormy Daniels, were involved in an affair. Daniels claims it wasn't consensual. However, even though Ms. Daniels signed a non-disclosure agreement and was received a payment of $130,000 by Trump's then lawyer, Cohen, at the time it was a violation of federal campaign laws with distribution of finance to the people and stuff like that, and was sentenced to 3 years. Now, whether or not Mrs. Daniels is telling the truth or not, we don't know, but we do know the NDA was produced and signed a payment of $130,000 in hush money. And there's a whole legality issue of her coming out because she signed the agreement, but the agreement is null because of the presidency and stuff like that. So it's one big murky. The whole thing basically is just bad. It's just bad overall. Also, he believed climate change to be a myth, which is now not a partisan issue. It's a bipartisan issue. Climate change used to be, only a Democrat thing. Now it's not Democrat or Republican. It's bipartisan. So current presidency issues on why Trump should be reelected has not even been 1 year in office, and President Biden has failed tremendously at many things. Border crisis. As soon as Joe Biden was elected, anarchy broke out on the U.S.-Mexico border, and Joe Biden's policy is basically just to let everyone in, and also there's more kids in cages now than when Trump was in office, but you won't see that on the media. Gas prices are insanely high. And yeah, that's that. Competency of current president. I'm not entirely sure the current president is even mentally strong enough to be in office. If you watch some of the press conferences, he doesn't even know what he's saying half the times, and he looks confused. Biden's approval rating is worse than that of Trump's, and yet the media is not even giving him the same coverage. I believe President Joe Biden will turn out to be the worst president in history over the next 3 years. Trump should be reelected so we can get back on track where we're heading as a nation. Overall, Trump was a great president, but he wasn't perfect. American economy thrived under his policies, our military was strengthened, and pro-life measures were taking place. President Biden has done a horrible job in his first year, which is why Trump should be reelected in 2024. Works cited: Trump, WhiteHouse.archives.gov, harpers.org/archive/Donald Trump is a good president, and CNN, why Trump was a bad president?